Welcome to my 100 kilogram overhead press series, where I'm competing against one of my friends to see who's gonna get 100 kilogram first. This guy been hitting the gym for three and a half years. And the other guy been in the gym for more than 10 years. He thinks he can get it first. I'm gonna put a picture of him on the screen. You're gonna tell me I'm delusional to think I'll get 100 kilogram before him. But I like being delusional. Being delusional is amazing. Thinking you can achieve everything is the best. And you work towards it. You don't just lay down. I think 100 kilogram very reasonable. Do I get it before him? I think I can. I've gotten told I'm delusional, fool, but come on. I've been hearing that from my dad the whole time. It's not a change when people on the internet tell me that. I mean, he even said worse. I'm a loser? I mean, maybe I should have kept that to myself. But we'll see. I'm gonna start with the work here, but to give you a general idea of how it's gonna start, it's gonna be 5 sets of 1, then followed with 2 sets of 10, and then an AMRAP. I'm trying to progress all of them, trying to experiment with strength training to some degree. 5 sets of 1 gets me used to heavier loads. I used to run conjugate. I didn't like the idea of conjugate because I change movement more often than I would like, and I just keep redlining it. You're not supposed to be redlining your training. You're supposed to go 95 maximum. Around 90 is where the space. Around 90 is where the sweet spot is. I couldn't do that, so we just changed the method. If you cannot follow the program, make it foolproof. Making things foolproof is better. If something is annoying to set up in the gym, and you have a home gym, just leave it set up if you can. Or maybe set it up at the end of a program. Or maybe you set it up at the end of a workout. So next workout when you come, you have it ready and you don't feel so annoyed by it and having to set it up. It works. I do that. And sometimes I even remove complete exercises that I like. Because I simply find them annoying to set up. I don't care. Sometimes having fun is all I need. Because everything almost works to a similar degree. You're going to be missing out on some, maybe. You could argue some exercises are better, but the benefit is not that big of a deal. And sometimes enjoyment boost from an exercise can override the optimal stuff. And that's what I like to go by. I pick reasonable exercises I think are good or decent, that I like, and I just push them. And I rely on the joy factor to just make sure I keep progressing. Enough talking. Let's get to work. Time for the heavy metal music. Experiment failed successfully. I knew this workout was gonna suck, and it sucked. So I proved myself right. You might ask yourself, why did you go to it knowing that it's gonna suck? Because it sucked, not because I didn't rest well. The workout sucked because I chose the wrong percentages for my 5 sets of 1 and 2 sets of 10. And what happened, I chose the same percentage for the bench and overhead press, and that was the mistake. I should have gone lower percentages of my 1 rep max on the overhead press. Why? Because when you pause on the overhead press, you just start bleeding stretch reflex so quickly. Half a second pause is like maybe 2 or 3 seconds pause on a bench. It's actually that crazy. I literally lose 5 kilograms for the same amount of reps if I just pause for a second or half a second at the bottom. I don't quite understand why it happens. I know it does, and I know it's not just me, it's everybody else. That's why you just should always pause your overhead presses. It just makes it harder, and you just get more out of less weight, and you just get a better start at the bottom. It's like using a pin press almost. Not quite a pin press, but still very close. If you pause your reps, you more than likely will not need to use any pin variation on the overhead press. You might still need, but it decreases the likelihood of you needing that. Now, I knew I lose that much, but I still chose the same percentage out of foolishness and greed. I thought maybe I can make it work. I could have, if I didn't pause at the bottom, but I didn't want to make that trade. So I should have started lower percentages, and instead of doing 85, I should have done 80. Instead of 75, I probably should have done 70. I was even thinking maybe 65 isn't a bad idea, and 75 also might not be a bad idea. For the weight added to the bar, my jumps were reasonable. I was doing only 2.5 kilograms every week. So now what? You failed, you chose the wrong percentage. You fucked up your workout. Oh, so quite simple. I'm just going to rotate the variation. I'm doing something like a conjugate style. It's not conjugate since I'm not maxing out, I know. But I'm taking the spirit of rotating things so I don't get overused, and I just work on different strength in different positions. You might start wondering then what you're going to choose for the next variation. I'm going to use chains. And I'm going to use chains not because I have a lockout weakness, because my shoulders are starting to get a little beat up and I want less tension at the bottom and more tension at the top, because when you're at the deep position and you have a lot of tension, that's where you start getting shoulder impingement and wear and tear. So the most logical is either a partial wrap or just chains. So I'm gonna go with chains. It could be also band, but I don't have bands in here, so we're doing chains. Plus chains are cooler. They make clunk clunk noise, and I love that. For the bench, why I have my feet up is I have an imbalance, one chest stronger than the other, so I put my feet off of the floor to force my body to push equally from both sides, because if the bar shifts into this direction, you'll start tipping off the bench. And so you're either correct that or just fall off the bench, and I just tend to correct it. And I tend to slow down my negatives more on these variations because it's easier to center the bar when you're going slower. So I'm going to be moving less load. For the dumbbell floor bench, there's not much to note. I just should not let it free fall at the floor when I get close to the bottom, because I've done it in a few reps and I tried to concentrate to not do that. It's just your instinct to just let it free fall because you know you can pause at the floor, and it's not good practice. So we're going to stop that. Don't think we forgot about the curls. I did low reps, which you might think is blasphemy. First of all, how is 4 reps stimulating? It works. It's stimulating. I found it to work. And you don't really stay in that rep range forever. You might also think to yourself, 3 reps, 0 stimulus, bruh. You only work on your strength. It doesn't matter when you add weight. If you go down below your desired rep range, you can just stay there for a week, 2, 3, 4. You know you're not going to be there forever. It's not like I'm doing it on purpose, but if it happens, I'm not going to complain. People think you're going to get injured if you go low reps on preacher. I don't quite think it is real, unless you're a roider or you just load it too quickly and you don't let your body adapt. Last but not least, face pulls. You might realize one side pulled different than the other. You realize that, right? I know, you're smart guy. You realized it. You didn't? Oh, well, sorry for overestimating. Anyway, one side's full, oh my god, I can't speak now. That's what I get for making fun of you. One side is pulling different than the other. Why exactly? Because the scapula imbalance. The right scapula is straight up stupid. I'm stupid. And And this guy is like a professional. He knows how to move. So now we're trying to make this guy catch up. I do face pulls with 2 hands. Ideally you would do one side at a time, but I already do one side at a time on Y raises, so I don't care too much. It would be better if I did one side at a time, but I'm quite lazy, so I said screw it. But that's about it. Appreciate you guys watching. Catch you next one.